What up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Your Shift by RggiTV, of course. I'm Reggie. I got my boy Big Lou with me. Say what's up, Big Lou.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Always good to be with y'all. You know what I mean? Talk about these hot topics. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, man. We're going to jump in right into one of the hottest ones right now. And it's looking like it might be going on right behind you right now. I don't know if that's the lights going on behind you right now.
Right?
We want to talk about this ICE situation. Everybody know Lou's touchdown in LA, in the Inglewood area, but also mainly in the greater Los Angeles area where everybody's affected in that area. You got curfews, you got deportation, ICE, people going in people's jobs, taking them out of their jobs, doing all kind of crazy stuff. So I'm hearing all kind of crazy stuff just about Marines being deployed, National Guards, and all kind of
Right.
some of the videos I'm seeing is crazy. So I just wanted to get your thoughts, man, on what you think about this and what's going on and like what you see as your day to day. Like, how's it impacting you?
Man, what I want to say, man, is it's a sad day in America, man. You know what I mean? Where, you still have what feels like this, crazy hierarchy. You know what I mean? The haves and the have-nots, those who have it want to see everybody else under their feet, for the most part. Most people, come to the U.S. for refuge, you know what I mean, from other places, you know what I mean, that might be in a more serious situation than we are here in the States, and so you may have people here, undocumented folks, um, who have
Yeah,
been here,
it's people that are undocumented.
you know,
That's the
undocumented.
history of America, though. You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, but you know what I mean. But what is undocumented, if you want to put it that way?
That's what I'm
What is
saying. That's the
what does
history
that
of
really
America.
mean?
It was built on immigrants and
Exactly. You know what I mean? You take somebody's stuff and then you lock them out, for the most part.
right.
And so, it's no coincidence why, everything here is Spanish. You know what I mean? Los Angeles, you know what I mean? San Francisco, San Diego. This is their home. You know what I mean? And so we just sad, man, breaking up families, things like that, pulling people out of their houses, chasing people down the street, from their jobs. I heard an account where they were down out in Downey, as of recent, the San Pedro area, Santa Monica, trying to get over into the schools over in Santa Monica. Man, it's a little wild, you know what I mean? It's good to see, people coming together. Some of the, local leaders here in LA, you know what I mean, setting up, not perimeters and things like that, but just kind of like putting people out and to kind of watch and making sure that, kids are not put through this traumatic event, being pulled out of schools and things like that. You got principals and superintendents trying to support and, watch out for their students. I think so that's a great thing, man, but really, really sad, thing, you know, but the truth is though, and I'm just going to have to be honest, a lot of people, they voted for this dude, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people got to think about, like what was your bottom line? What were you trying to accomplish by having this guy in office, and did you trust him, and things like that? So it's just sticky situation or whatever the case may be. You got to kind of pick your
Right.
poison. But I think the chicken came to roost, on this situation or whatever, because he put a directive out there, and it seems like he's doubling down on it. So,
Uh,
yeah, it's a sad
this is
state
one
of
of the
affairs, here in LA, here all over, throughout the states or whatever, not just here in LA, but man, just really, really sad, man.
now this is one of those situations for me is I go back to those old shows and it's not like a laughing matter. Definitely not a laughing matter. But I'm just what I'm thinking about is like back when we watched the sitcoms in the '90s and the angel and the devil would pop up on their shoulder. I don't know if you remember that.
Mhm.
And telling them, oh, this way of thinking about things or this way of going about things, this positive way. And then you got the devil over on this side telling you like, but this other way or whatever it is. So, and that's how I see this situation. Because part of me is the angel, part of it is like, this is wrong. It's wrong the way you're going about it, and wrong is wrong. Ain't no other way of slicing it. You know, snatching people out, like you said, out of their jobs, out of their homes, chasing them down the street, breaking up families. You know, this is not far removed from when the dude was putting them in detention centers and chaining up kids and locking kids up in little camps and all kind of stuff like that. Like real wild. From what I would say, from an American perspective, like third world kind of like, bro, what the hell is going on? You tripping? You know what I
Sure.
mean? But, you know, you treating people this way, like people here undocumented or whatever the case may be. You know, then, but like you said, then part of me is on the other side of the spectrum, like you just mentioned. Like, not only did they vote for this, I'm gonna put this little demographic up right here. You know, where remember when we talked about the percentages of Latino men and women that voted for this dude. The percentages were way too high. We're talking about percentages in the, I want to say, definitely high 70s or 80s for Latino men. High 70s or 80s for Latino men. And I know they were in the high 50s for Latino women. Or at least even if it's close to 50, that's crazy work. That's crazy
Right.
work.
Right.
You gotta understand that the race was close enough for y'all to do, if y'all would have done what y'all was supposed to do and been in the high 80s and 90s like you were supposed to do, like like I might add, like the African American vote did for the black women and men who came out, in that women in 92%, and men I believe were in the 70s or 80s, I believe, that voted for Kamala. But we did our part. You know what I mean? So that's
Yes,
why a
man.
lot of people right now that look like us kind of like are like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I
What'd
mean,
you expect? You thought he was playing? You thought he was bluffing? You know what I mean? Yeah, he wasn't playing. He told you what the plan was. You know what I mean? He told you what you thought you was exempt because you want to pass as white in a sense or whatever it is. Or you felt comfortable, most comfortable being close to or adjacent to said white
well,
people.
I mean, I would put it in a different way. I think a lot of people are just willing to bet on anything but black, you know? And so, you know, if, if it's a black candidate, things like that, I just think sometimes people just prefer, and black anything, you know what I mean, comes with a negative connotation, you know what I mean? So
I
I
get
just
that,
think,
especially when you talk about black women.
yeah,
If we being
very true.
real,
Exactly.
you know what I mean. That's the like my I love them to death. I'm married to one. My sisters and mother and all that stuff. Like so, sister in laws and all that. But what I'm saying is, but they're the low hanging fruit, the low totem pole. They always get attacked, always mocked, always emulated. It's overwhelming how much they extract from a black woman, but definitely don't want to see no black woman in no power. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
definitely.
not alone just the woman. Period. You know,
Right.
definitely not a black woman. But that speaks to my point though, Lou. Like when you talk about uh like it being uh in the black vote and people doing what doing what they're supposed to do from that perspective, and the Hispanic people not doing what they're supposed to do from that perspective. You think about what the alternative was. You're talking about, okay, yeah, I didn't want a black woman or a black person or anything black to be leading in any capacity, but they told you what they were going to do to you. It's not the same as if you're talking about a normal undercover kind of slick kind of white supremacy kind of situation, the Mitt Romneys and those kind of guys where you're like, that guy kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. I don't know about this guy, but he ain't outright Project 25 like the other guy, like this guy. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? So But for this guy to come out outright and say what it is that he plans to do to your people, and you're like, I still choose that over the alternative of blacks leading anything, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I guess
Crazy work.
that's the whole point. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
it's really the hate that people have for black folks, that they're willing to take a chance or bet on anything else, believing that they will get, more out of it. They will get better benefits, that they will be, you know, taken care of, whatever it is. They just feel like if going the black going with the black vote or whatever the case may be, that will put them in a worse situation than they currently are. Which
And
is
the
which
crazy
is so
thing,
crazy to me.
yeah, like you said, but it's like in other circumstances, I'm not saying that I agree, but I would understand their plight if it was a normal situation. This guy is not normal. What he said to you was exact. He said exactly what he was going to do in regards to deporting people and
Right,
clearing out people. He said it.
right.
It wasn't a secret. That's what I'm saying. That this is the difference between that. Like I understand your logic by what you're saying, but that would be under normal pretense when white people, when those people are kind of like putting the gauze over their eyes, like, yeah, we're gonna be on your team. Just vote for me. They weren't even doing that this time.
Right.
This
You
time he
know,
said it outright.
one thing that I want to throw out there too is black folks got to get their stuff together because there are quite a few of us who voted for him too. It's just right now we're not at the top of the priority list right now, but
That's
it
true.
doesn't mean that we're not going to, as soon as they done, with messing with these families and stuff like that, we can't forget that, they might be coming right back on us, right back on our necks right now. We just not on the chopping block as of now. As of now, well, we always on the chopping
That's
block.
like That's a great point. No, for one, I feel like like you said, like we're always there. It may not be priority 1A right now at the moment, but we're always there. We've been there in these situations where we feel like unwanted and feeling like pushed out of areas and all kind of things like that. So that's been our story. And you're right. I said that, and I'm gonna put that demographic back up here again because I always keep it close to me. Those percentages by race, that who voted for the 2024 election, and understanding our percentages were way too high as well. I don't think that if we were higher that we would have pushed it to that. And I think we still needed the Latino vote to do what we thought they were supposed to do. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I still think that was it's still a necessity in order to accomplish the ultimate goal of not allowing that gentleman to be back into office. But again, you're right. That's the accountability thing that we have to all look in the mirror and say, and whether we were the one that actually punched that ticket or not, you had to say like, yeah, you have to look in the mirror and hold everybody accountable.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
'Cause that's just not not a situation where it's like, well, I did my part. Like, nah, that's not okay. You
Right.
can't sit this one out. You know what I mean? You can't sit this one out. You know what I mean? So I that's definitely a good discussion. Honestly, before I go off of this, I really want to know is how is your day to day affected? Like, is there anything that like as far as like routes that you got to take different? Like what?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like yesterday, around the new SoFi Stadium, there was a big protest over there yesterday evening, into the night. Uh, you know, anybody who lives in the Inglewood area or anything like that knows that, you know, Manchester's definitely a no-no. Can't get off on Century. You know what I mean? And
Uh,
sometimes you can't even take Florence. So all of that, those exits or whatever are no-no. You kind of got to go the back way or go all the way around. And so, yeah, there's definitely, some adjustments that need to be made, during this time, and then just also watching out for the white and green trucks, man. You know what I mean? Making sure you checking in with folks and things like that. We know we got people
right.
all over the place or whatever the case may be, and just letting folks know and kind of keeping the feelers out for where these dudes are. or whatever, making sure that everybody's safe, and stuff like that. So yeah, man, but a great crazy time right now, and in the greater Los Angeles area, slash, California.
Right. No, man, I'm wishing all the people, I know families are being disrupted and all that stuff right now, but only just sending out good vibes, man, the best the way I can for the city and the people, and those that are affected. Hopefully, you're not away from your families too long.
Right.
You
And
can
Reg,
reunite
real
as
quick,
soon as you can.
before we switch it up, I wanted to say, just kind of like directly out, to my black people, white folks are really, really strategic on how they move, and so we have to be able to mirror that same thing in working together. A lot of times they know that we're going to be distracted with things that are meaningless, meaning like music, entertainment, games, going to clubs, hanging out, doing things or whatever that won't necessarily help you in the long run as far as, like longevity, you know, generational wealth, anything like that, understanding, the rules, what's coming down the pipeline as far as government is concerned. There's a lot of moves happening when we're, in some way, quote unquote, you know, being distracted or blinded.
Right.
So we got to be, vigilant. We got to wake up. We got to make sure that we're taking the opportunity or whatever to be able to get together, get in some type of circle to have, these conversations or whatever. So we're not always behind the eight ball. So I just thought I would just mention that before we got off this segment or whatever. But yeah, we got to find a way to do better, and that includes me.
I appreciate that. I 100% second that. You know what I mean? Just understanding that there's always room to be better and improve and grow, and I want that desperately for not just every individual, but us collectively. I appreciate you even bringing that up. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna get off of this topic like we like to do over here, shift gears a little bit, talk your ship. We're gonna switch it up. And I gotta talk about my boy K Dot on a GNX tour with SZA over there in Canada. Double night, 2 night show on
He's killing
Father's
it.
Day weekend. On Father's Day weekend, he's doing this. Come on, you don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about that. That's what you talking about. You don't know nothing about praying with your son. I'm telling you, it's all strategic with this dude. But I wanted to get your thoughts, just pure initial thoughts on that. I know what I feel about it. Just what you think about the 2 night show. Also, Toronto coming out, showing out, selling out tickets. They actually breaking records, trying to be in the top 5 for the most tickets sold during the tour at the rivals in the rival city, which is crazy work. At a stadium tour, which is not done by rappers. This is just not done by rappers. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think 2 rappers maybe did this. One. I don't even think Jay did this. I think Eminem is the only one that did this.
Well, you know what? Let me just to piggyback off of our first conversation as far as like the adjustments that have to be made. Kendrick just
Right.
had his LA stop, not too
Right.
long ago. And so man, the traffic that brought was bananas.
Yeah.
I just thought that it was important to say that too. To even get on the 405 freeway, you know what I mean? The stops and the closures, all of the different areas or whatever that were cut off,
Did he did he
all
have three shows or 2 shows in
over.
LA?
I want to say,
Thought it
I
was
thought it
3.
was Friday through Sunday, but I might be wrong.
Yeah.
It's very possible it could have been just the 2 shows, Saturday and Sunday.
I think LA was the only place he had 3 shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but man, that was a crazy weekend, just super wild. Everybody was talking about it here in LA. One of the biggest things going on. And man, that's not the place you wanted to be if you weren't at the concert. Because boy, if you try to get through there, you get trapped in that traffic, man. It could take you at least hour and a half, 2 hours, man, to get out of, to find your way out of it, and where you're trying to get to is right around the corner. So man, that was a little wild. But going to his little stop in Toronto, man, that's just like almost super disrespectful, man. Like if I was a boy, I'd be like, man, why don't you get up out of here, man? Why you didn't like done me dirty? Now you just gotta come up to my city and take my people from me, man. It's gotta so I feel a little messed up. But then again, hey bro, you gotta once you jump in the ring with the Lions, in the Lions den, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what it goes.
fair
That goes
game.
with the territory.
Yeah,
All's fair game and love and war, as they say. So you gotta
no, for
swallow
real.
that. But yeah, man,
You know,
dude is
I do
doing
I do think that like you was talking about him coming to LA, him going to Toronto, but if Drake was in LA, he would do the same thing. And that's the thing, and that's why I say to people, like people want to feel bad for this dude, like he would not take advantage. Y'all gotta be kidding me. If we're on the other end of the spectrum, like he did the victory lap against Meek Mill, he did the victory lap.
oh,
He
this is
talked
what it
about him
is.
everywhere.
Let me answer that question real quick. The reason why we feel bad for Drake is because no one's been done like this ever in life. You know, and so
So what that mean?
and this is what I mean by that is he almost in the man's career and put him in therapy. You know what I mean? He probably is in therapy. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm sure he's in therapy because of this situation. If he wasn't in like that it hasn't ever happened where a rapper has really, almost stopped rapping, or get his career ended on a rap battle or just a battle in general. You know what I mean? Like there have been battles that go back and forth. You see a loser, but never a loser in this fashion. And so that's the
Yeah,
reason why you check in with people like, damn, is you all right, bruh? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
man, come on, man, get up off the ground, bruh. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can do it. You almost want to root for Drake because no one expected this level of fall off, from any individual, especially for somebody at his caliber. It's like even the people who don't like Drake almost want him to find a way to punch back. If that makes any sense in some way, shape, or form. It's like, damn, buddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just gonna
bro.
take all of these
Did you
knots up,
even pinch the
knots up
bitch?
of your damn head, and you ain't gonna punch back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now he's becoming an
Right.
underdog and shit. And everybody loves an underdog. But anyway, let me
Hey,
let you
hey,
have
Lou, I'm
yours.
gonna have to jump in there, man, because here's where I disagree. Here, and not because I'm a K Dot fan, because it's easy to disagree because I'm a K Dot fan. That's the easiest route. But I'm gonna go with facts and logic. Outside of being a K Dot fan, facts and logic says we shouldn't feel sorry for Drake for these fucking reasons right here. Okay. Number one, you called this man out of there. You kept telling him to drop. You kept saying drop, drop. You got it. You need to drop. Where you at? Where you at? You did this. You called this man out. That's the first fucking point. The
Right?
second point, the second point is you talking about when K Dot going into this man's city. I said this earlier. If Drake was on the other end of the spectrum and he won, he would take his victory lap just like he did with Meek Mill, and went on every platform and talked about him. Went on every platform and made sure that he know that he was the better rapper and all that stuff. I got multiple points. The third point is the cosplay, the fact that you feel like you can imitate what we actually live and make it okay and talk about people like you are actually about that when you didn't come from that. Like
Right?
Eminem was accepted because he talked about where he came from. He talked about what his experience was. He didn't try to talk about through somebody else's experience.
Yeah.
White, everybody saw the movie 8 Mile. White as ever. But
Understood.
he talked about it. He talked about it through his experience. And you do cosplay, whatever it is that you're doing at the time. If you talk about Southern trap rap, if you're going in Atlanta, if you're doing a Houston rap, if you whatever it is, you just pull from whatever the genre, whatever it is. And one of the main points you talk about why we really shouldn't feel sorry for Drake is that you really had a situation where you could have made it hip hop and been about the culture. The ball was in your court. Even beyond the shit that I just listed, you still had an opportunity to just make music, and you took it to the courts, you took it to lawsuits, you took it to I'm gonna tell, I want to get you in trouble, and which is totally the point. That's the point.
Right.
You're not of this. You're not like us.
You're not like us. No, I agree.
You, you see what I'm saying? So even when that's the point that I was making when you get to the point of trying to be like I understand what you were like, man, like damn nigga, get up, try to do something, fight back, nigga, don't just let the nigga. I get you, but that would be under normal circumstances.
Oh,
That
look,
would be under normal
this is the point.
circumstances.
This is the point that I'm making, and this goes for like in a couple of different areas. Let's just say, for instance, if you know a heavyweight bout, even for a person that talks trash, you know what I mean, or instigates a fight, who gets beat down. Once you get beat down, and the person who was being bullied, or the person who, everybody, was being stepped on, or whatever the case may be, ridiculed, is standing over his bully. And now you just start pummeling them. You see what I'm saying? You just pummel them. Eventually, even in a real fight, somebody comes and pull that person back. You see what I'm saying? Like, he done had enough on the one on the ground. They don't let him start stomping him out no more. Whatever. Somebody usually grab or allow this dude to get up so they can go back and do whatever. I'm using this as an example and an analogy that even for the aggressor, when a person just gets pummeled to the ground, even if you whatever, it's no longer, you've already been exposed. There's no way to be exposed twice or three times or four times. You've been exposed. It just is what it is. So now it's over now. You know what I mean? We can still watch you on the ground doing like this anymore. Or somebody will just be like, man, get your ass up, man. This is a damn shame now. You know what I mean? More so than, like rooting for you or whatever. But it's just like, damn, come on, man. This has been a
Hey,
goddamn year now. Or
I
over, you see what I'm
would
saying?
normally agree. I would normally agree, Lou. I would normally agree. You said it's been a year. Who's to say how long the shots have been coming towards Kendrick from Drake from before this battle started out? So we talk about the year of you being beat. We talk about the year of you being beat, but we talk about not the 10 years of you throwing little shots of trying to sun me and trying to make sure that I knew that I was beneath you. We talking about we're talking about all of those years.
Yeah, but
And no,
everything
go ahead.
everything ain't equal though, Reg. And that's the reason why I'm trying to say, like, I think you're trying to put it in, okay, you did like me, or like I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think sometimes people are on different levels. Like, say, for instance, me. If I think that I'm a good boxer or MMA, whatever it is, I'm fighting in my fight. I'm fighting in my fight class, but I'm talking shit to a motherfucker up there. You see what I'm saying? You like
Right.
that's what K Dot is. You may not know it, but that you talking on that other level. Then you go up there and you try to put hands on another nigga in a different weight class. You see what I'm saying? Now, you talking shit means everybody should allow this person in this weight class to beat the brakes off of you as long as it takes. Now, we've already proven that this guy up here has proven to this little guy who was looking up talking trash. Bro, you realize Why, just to keep your mouth closed, you're not on this level. Some wins are not equal. Some are, some there's a balance. The Jay-Z Nas equal battle. It went whatever. This is not equal battle. This is not
Why is it not equal now? But why is
because
it not
there
equal
was
now?
no, because a person he was hung from the start. Like it's almost like there was no battle. Like there was no battle. You almost forget about every song. Like I can go back into Nas and Jay-Z's, whatever. Somebody be like, what about Ether? Somebody be like, what about this? We done forgot about Drake's shit. Like that shit over. This shit is over, nigga. He can't even bring up an old song that he was in this whole little battle that would help him. All your shit is trash at this point in the battle. Like you got faded. It is no battle. It is no battle, Reg. I'm looking at real battles like, okay, all right, so what you gonna do? So what you gonna do? He went to court. Like, it's no battle. So I can keep pummeling on somebody who does not belong in this arena. You see what I'm saying? Or I can just be like, dude, if you want to show that you belong in this arena, you got to say something. You got to whatever, because now I don't even really want to talk about this anymore because there's really nothing to talk about. It's almost like, what am I call it? Jay-Z battling Scary Spice. Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, how long we gonna watch that battle? How long we gonna watch Drake?
You know what?
No, for real though. How long we
No,
gonna watch
but
Jay-Z
look,
versus Scary Spice? That's what
and
this feels like.
I just resent that, bro. I just resent that. I resent that. I resent it all the way around. Like I resent it all the way around.
It's okay. I understand that. You're going off of Drake opening his mouth initially, and now he's getting what he
No,
was.
but no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm just
No, I'm
saying.
not.
I'm just saying he's lost, and there is no battle.
Okay, he's lost. Okay, there is no battle. But what I'm saying is, I feel like that makes an excuse for him. I feel like it pacifies his loss. I feel like it gives him space for empathy that other rappers didn't get. Cannabis didn't get that in the battle with LL
No
Cool
one will
J.
ever lose.
No,
No one
dude,
will
but hear me out. No, hear me
ever.
out. No, hear me out. What I'm saying to you is, I feel like when you say stuff like it's like Jay-Z against Ice Spot or Scary Spike, whatever the fuck it is, it makes it seems like now that Drake wasn't as if what he claimed to be. Scary Spice never claimed to be the greatest of all time. You see what I'm saying? Like this is what Drake claims to. Yeah, you can't then just minimize what he is
Again, you
into.
can't get exposed twice. He's been exposed because of that.
No. I'm not talking about exposing twice, but but you can't mull over the greatest of all time.
How
You
do you
can't mull over that.
how do
You
you
can't just make that
no, but
minimal
Reg,
as
listen to
if
this.
that's
How do
just
you
saying no, that I'm just better than you. Like battle rap,
no?
I'm better than you in in this arena. For a person to be like, I'm better than Michael Jackson. I'm better than Tito. I'm better than Jordan. I'm better than all of
Understood,
these people. That's
understood.
a different round.
You gotta explain to me the level of what kind of loss you're talking about. Loss is you lost. Like now, so what level of loss are you saying that K Dot needs to prove? He's destroyed this man. Like so,
No,
what
but you
what
got to also
more?
the level of loss that's brought to Drake is also something of self infliction. A
It's
lot of
okay,
what is,
and it's the worst loss in the
but a
world.
lot of it is not K Dot though. So that's not fair to say that a lot of it is something is stuff that Drake is bringing on himself.
Whatever it is, I guess what I'm saying is you came in the kitchen and you got cooked, period. No one will ever change that. When we bring up the history books, this is going to be at the top of it. What more is necessary to show that Drake opened his mouth too soon? What more? to help drive the point. The point has been driven and can't be driven anymore on their levels. I don't think it can.
To you, there are actually people out here who feel that he won this. He won this. There are actually people that feel like that.
That's wild.
That
That's just stupid.
no, no, no. It's not. I understand what you're saying about it being wild, but this is the what I'm speaking is facts.
No, I
What
understand what
you're,
you're
what you're,
saying, but
what,
it can be fact because he lost. So these people are delusional. I'm saying it on record. Whoever
right?
is thinking like that, you
And
gotta
we
be
would agree.
delusional.
We would agree. We would agree. So what you're saying is, from what my understanding is that Kendrick should say nothing. He should not perform his hits. He should not go on tour and say anything
No,
about
the
it.
man should get his money as long as he can go on this run.
So what else? What do you mean keep beating him? How is he? How is he continue to beating him? And to where everybody like
Nothing.
your analogy,
It
everybody's
has
pulling
nothing to
him
do
off.
with what Kendrick's done. What he's supposed to do. All he doing is making his money now. He ain't even. I don't even think he got Drake in mind. Damn near now. It's so embedded in those are his songs or whatever. The battle is over. My man is making his money. In my opinion, if somebody were to ask me, you know what I mean? Kendrick is making his money now. He on his tours. Drake is lost, as far as he can see or whatever. So it's over. Now it's like, damn, Drake, I'm not even a fan of yours, my nigga. But you know what I mean? But damn, you know what I mean? Are you going to make some type of attempt? Shit, come out and have a damn press conference, something. Say your ass lost and you don't want no more smoke. Something to the fact that, or whatever, buddy, you're going to have to find a way to get in the lab. And these so-called people that still believe you won or whatever the case may be, you're going to have to get your numbers up. But you'll never be able to come back from this. You'll never. You'll never be able to
Yeah,
come back from it.
yeah. All of us in hip hop, we all know that. What I think that needs the point that's being driven home is for the people in the Lulu land. It's for those people to understand just the magnitude of what was done by Arbery.
This is one, Gilly the Kid. Gilly the Kid was one of those people on the light skinned team talking about
Yeah,
Drake,
he was.
or whatever the case may be. And that's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing else to say to Gilly. It's nothing else. It's why argue with a fool? In other words, that's more where I'm coming from. It's
I get it.
over. You
I
keep
get
trying to
it.
drive something home to a person. It's just like, why am I still talking to
Yeah,
you?
no,
Like,
no, no.
that's what
and
I'm
that's
trying to
and
say.
that's what I'm saying, Lou. It's not about drive. Nobody's driving the point home. It's just the individuals that we're talking to that feel like it's a problem with Kendrick, and that was what my understanding was. And now that I'm understanding and I'm clear, you don't have a problem with Kendrick and feeling like he's continuing the narrative to push Drake into the ground. You just feel like it's the people that pushing Drake and his agenda that continue to fight this battle and pushing Drake forward. It's not necessarily Kendrick that continues the battle. Kendrick just doing. You feel like he just doing what he would
No,
normally
Kendrick is
do.
doing his
But
music now. I don't think. I think the battle's over. I think Kendrick is doing exactly what I'm saying. And what I mean by that is I don't think he thinks about Drake. I think he thinks it's over as much as I think that it's over.
right.
That's what I'm saying. You
No,
saying
I
it
get
ain't
that.
over. I'm saying it's over. And I think
No,
Kendrick would say,
I agree. No, we would agree when we talk about it being over. And like I said, I would just like I said for me personally, being a K Dot fan, being understanding that this battle stemmed from long, long, long before Euphoria and Family Matters and all that stuff. It stemmed well before push-ups and all that stuff. It was well before that. Those that understand that and know that we're speaking from a perspective and know that Mr. Arbery is getting everything that he deserves.
yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, and this is what I mean, this push
Everything that
that
he deserves.
this push that Kendrick has gone, this surge that he's been on has made people forget even the best songs that Drake made in this battle. Some people might not even be to remember the titles. You remember them, push-ups and all that shit. Most people don't remember that shit. You know what I mean? Because it has been saturated with they not like us and everything. Kendrick has blown this dude out the water. Even his very best song has been forgotten. You know what I mean? With all of
Now
the
I get what you're saying, Lou, but you're on the West Coast. I gotta be honest about that. I gotta be real honest about that. And that's what I'm saying, because you're not really understanding that there are people who really truly believe that that's a West Coast thing. That's a West Coast belief. Do you really feel what I'm saying?
well, I think that there's a lot of people that don't like West Coast music, period, point
Well,
blank.
that's just been a time that was before Kendrick came along.
Well, yeah,
That's been
but that's my
it's not
answer.
just West Coast
That's
music
my
though. People
answer.
don't like the West Coast.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
And like Kendrick said, I'm fine with it. I push the line with it. You
My
see what I'm
kids
saying?
go to school on the East Coast, and they'll tell you nobody likes any music over here. They just don't like our music, for some reason. And so, but that's, I mean, that's just my little take on it or whatever. I think Drake, he can't do anything other than go back to the drawing board, make more music or whatever the case may be for the smaller audience that still rock with him. Because music is going to be different from him from now on. Music, period. Drake was destroyed. It destroyed his image. It destroyed his money. It destroyed so many different things, him engaging in this battle with Kendrick. This dude now is in recovery mode, like almost literally, where his ticket sales, everything takes a hit because he was involved in this thing with old boy, and so he's gonna have to find his little whatever, be doing some old Usher ass Las Vegas shows or some shit like that. And I don't think he's demoted to that, you know what I mean, just yet. But what I'm saying is he gonna have to find his niche at this point in his career because it's never gonna be, in my opinion, here in the States at the level that it was before. After this, it'll never be the same.
No, I 100% agree. I definitely think he's always going to be looked at differently, in a different light. Um, you know, uh, I just think that this whole thing is such a dramatic thing for hip hop. It's a dramatic shift in the culture and just the understanding of like what we accept and what we accept as our hip hop culture. Like I feel like we've taken it back. I just feel like that's where we are right now, man. But yeah, this is a good discussion, man. Before we get out of here, I always want to check in with our folks, mental health check in, man. We just want to make sure that y'all all understand it. We get it. It ain't always easy, but sometimes you gotta have a place to go talk to. This is one of the places. You can lay it down here in the comments, throw it in the DMs, whatever, however you feel like you need to get it off your chest. But it's definitely a place where we can do it. It's for men, women, all of the above. But we just want to make sure we check in, tap in with y'all, know that we thinking about y'all, we care about y'all, we love y'all, we appreciate y'all tapping in with us.
We love
Talk your
y'all.
shit.
Oh yeah, definitely, folks.
Another episode. We coming back at y'all. We out, man.